Okay. This conclusion is taken from E.M. Forster's Aspects of the Novel. It is tempting to conclude by speculations as to the future of the novel. Will it become more or less realistic? Will it be killed by the cinema and so on? Speculations, whether sad or lively, always have a large air about them. They are a convenient way of being helpful or impressive. But we have no right to entertain them. We have refused to be hampered by the past, so we must not profit by the future. We have visualized the novelists of the last 200 years all writing together in one room, subject to the same emotions and putting the accidents of their age into the crucible of inspiration. And whatever our results, our method has been sound for an assemblage of pseudo-scholars like ourselves. But we must visualize the novelists of the next 200 years as also writing in the room. The change in their subject matter will be enormous. They will not change. We may harness the atom, we may land on the moon, we may abolish or intensify warfare, the mental process of animals may be understood, but all these are trifles. They belong to history, not to art. History develops. Art stands still. The novelist of the future will have to pass all the new facts through the old, if variable mechanism of the creative mind. There is, however, one question which touches our subject, and which only a psychologist could answer. But let us ask it. Will the creative process itself alter? Will the mirror get a new coat of quicksilver? In other words, can human nature change? Let us consider this possibility for a moment. We are entitled to that much relaxation. It is amusing to listen to elderly people on this subject. Sometimes a man says in confident tones, human nature is the same in all ages. The primitive caveman lies deep in us all. Civilization? Pooh, a mere veneer. You can't alter facts. He speaks like this when he is feeling prosperous and fat, when he is feeling depressed and is worried by the young or is being sentimental about them on the ground that they will succeed in life when he has failed. Then he will take the opposite view and say, mysteriously, human nature is not the same. I have seen fundamental changes in my own time. You must face facts. And he goes on like this, day after day, alternately facing facts and refusing to alter them. All I will do is to state a possibility. If human nature does alter, it will be because individuals manage to look at themselves in a new way. Hence, here and there people, a very few people, but a few novelists are among them, are trying to do this. Every institution in vested interest is against such a search. Organized religion, the state, the family, in its economic aspect, have nothing to gain. And it is only when outward prohibitions weaken that it can proceed. History conditions it to that extent. Perhaps the searchers will fail. Perhaps it is impossible for the instrument of contemplation to contemplate itself. Perhaps if it is possible, it means the end of imaginative literature, which, if I understand him rightly, is the view of that acute inquirer, Mr. A.I. Richards. Mr. I.A. Richards. Anyhow, that way lies movement and even combustion for the novel, for if the novelist sees himself differently, he will see his characters differently, and a new system of lighting will result. I do not know on the verge of which philosophy or what rival philosophies the above remarks are wavering, but as I look back at my own scraps of knowledge and into my own heart, I see these two movements of the human mind, the great tedious onrush known as history, and a shy, crab-like sideways movement. Both movements have been neglected in these lectures. History, because it only carries people on, it is just a train full of passengers, and the crab-like movement, because it is too slow and cautious to be visible over our tiny period of 200 years. So we laid it down as an axiom when we started that human nature is unchangeable, and that it produces in rapid succession prose fictions, which fictions, when they contain 50,000 words or more, are called novels. If we had the power or license to take a wider view and survey all human and pre-human activity, we might not conclude like this. The crab-like movement, the shiftings of the passengers might be visible, and the phrase, the development of the novel, might cease to be a pseudo-scholarly tag or a technical triviality and become important, because it implied the development of humanity. This is it.